Hello beautiful, this is Anton, and this is a video where I'm going to show you how to set up your own automated system of backups using your own NAS or network attached storage drive. In other words, we're going to be using our own miniature sort of network that is going to have automatic backups using this time Windows, but if you want a Linux version, post it in comments below. I'm going to show you how to do this in Linux. It's actually way easier in Linux and also on Mac than it is on Windows. We are using the tools from one of the previous videos I made where basically I use this amazing product that nobody knows about. It's called a Libre computer board called Renegade. The only beauty of this product is that, well, other than the price of Raspberry Pi, it has a USB 3 port. So it allows you to create a relatively fast, actually very fast network drive that transfers files on and off in like a few seconds. What I used to do before, and that's I think how most people start, is I used the Raspberry Pi for this, and that was very inefficient. It was ridiculously slow. Raspberry Pi has USB 2 ports. They're good for like small files, for like documents and stuff, but if you're transferring, like for example, video files, I make a lot of videos, so I need to transfer those. It was just taking too long, and it would overheat the system way too much. Renegade has one single USB 3 port right here, and I made a video about this previously. And so it allowed me to connect a 4 terabyte hard drive to it and basically transfer things super fast. So how do we do this? Well, first of all, like in the previous video, we need to use Open Media Vault, which is an open source software. And their website is right here, openmediavault.org. You can just download their products directly. It's basically all open source. The file that we are going to be using is essentially under here. It's called OMV for Renegade image. So burn it, put it on your Renegade, or I guess any other system. Like for example, if you're using Rock 64 or Pine 64 or any other USB 3 systems, it will definitely work with them as well. Although technically it works with everything, but just it's not going to be as fast. So we've installed everything, we downloaded everything. Here is what our system is going to look like if you log into it from the browser. I'm logging in as an administrator right now. The login is admin, the password is Open Media Vault. That's the default settings. So here, the only thing, once you set everything up, the only thing we need to enable is right here under rsync. We actually have to go into the server and make sure that it's enabled. So basically that rsync server is running. If you have this running, you can now actually connect from Linux, connect from Mac, and of course connect from Windows and rsync your files into it. Rsync is basically a tool that allows you to sync your files directly. In other words, turn your files in your network and your drives into a Dropbox-like environment. Although it's very easy to do on Linux, it's not very easy to do on Windows. We didn't really have tools for years, and suddenly we have quite a lot now. Some of them are actually proprietary and cost a lot. This one is absolutely free. Cygwin. Basically, download Cygwin by setting up this, and if you're on Linux, you can totally skip this, go directly to rsync command that's going to be shown later on. And once you start installing it, it's actually going to prompt you about something right here. Let me just show you in a second. First of all, it's going to ask you where you want to download this from. It doesn't really matter. They all work just fine. And second of all, once this is done, it's going to ask you this question about which packages you want. So here, just in the search window, type rsync. And once you do that, it should bring up the list that looks like this. Now mine says keep because I already have it installed. I can also reinstall it and install it. You just have to click on it, so basically it says install. Then right on the bottom there, click on next and it will install rsync into whatever folder you want. So that's the only tool we need from here. There's more tools that are Linux based, but basically that's the only one we want. Once that's installed, all you need to do now, well, first of all, make sure you know where you installed it because we need that path. We're going to create a file with an extension .bat. Let me show you the easiest way to do this. Basically, create a notepad file, save it as something.bat, and .bat file is essentially it's an executable for Windows that will have certain commands in it. The first line here is where your rsync is located. Then we have a few more extra flags here to essentially check for changes in files and to delete files that are no longer needed if they're not located on your original drive, and also make sure to display all of this. Then we have these two parts that are going to be a little bit different. So here, sig drive is basically a Linux way of writing that we're going to be working with this virtual Sigwin drive. My actual folder I'm backing up is located on E auto backup. So if I were to open this up in my Explorer window, this is what it looks like. So this is E auto backup, and the files I'm backing up are here. As you can see, they're pretty large. They're like 5 gigs in size. Then where am I backing this up? Well, I'm putting it on my Z drive in backups. And I actually did this because I already have my network mapped as Z drive. So in other words, this is what I did. I basically went into my Renegade drive right here. This is my network files. Right click on it. And on the bottom, you're actually going to see map network drive. I just mapped it to a Z drive because I never use Z. And so it automatically became my Z drive. So now if I actually look right here, there's my Renegade as a Z drive. So that's basically it. And then it's going to create a folder called backups where everything is going to be saved. Now, I'm just going to close this and save this. But if I run this file now, it's actually going to run this command and it will automatically back everything up. So in other words, every time you run this file, it will back up everything in the folder and make sure that nothing is repeated, and delete files that are not located in the original folder. So if suddenly I erase my files from the original folder, they're going to be gone from the other folder as well. But the thing is, I want this to be automatic. As a matter of fact, I want this to be basically run like, let's say, every 12 hours or when I'm not awake, when I'm sleeping, and done automatically. So what do? We need to schedule it. For Linux, and I guess in some sense for Mac, you can use things like crontab, which automates this for you. But for Windows, we have a scheduler. And so here, if you actually look up task scheduler in your Windows, either by saying Cortana, open up task scheduler, or just typing it in the bottom, you'll get this. And this is where all of your scheduled tasks are. Now, all we need to do is basically, I think I already have it set up here somewhere. There it is, file backup. You just have to create one. And to add a new task, basically just click on create task. And here you can basically set it up as follows. So name your task, something that you can remember easy so that if you need to change it or erase it. Run only when user is logged on is good, but if you wanted to do this when you're not there, when the computer is logged off, you can actually select this and then also have it log in automatically. For triggers, this is where you can schedule it the way you want it to be. I usually do daily, but if you just want to back things up weekly, you can also change it here. So basically all the scheduling stuff is in here. There's also other options you can go through. There's lots of ways of scheduling this the way you want it to be. What actions are we taking? So this is important. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to start a program, point it at that particular file that we just created. Mine is on desktop, yours can be anywhere. You don't have to add anything else, that's it. That's all we're doing. And so now we can actually modify this a little bit more. Like for example, you can also only start it when the computer is idle. So in other words, when you're not using it. So if you don't want it to bug you, you can select this. I actually did select this because I don't want it to upload things or use things when I'm using the computer. If you're using this on a laptop, this is also good to have. So only do this when the computer is plugged in. And lastly, for the settings here, if your network is not very stable or if your hard drive has a tendency to like fail for some reason, you may also want to check this. Basically, it will restart the task if it failed. Then okay this, and what you'll have at the end is a task that's going to appear somewhere here. Mine is right here. Mine runs every single day at 5:45 a.m. when I'm basically sleeping. It takes it about like 25 minutes max to upload gigabytes of stuff, if ever I have this much. But it actually sometimes just checks things and it takes only a few seconds. Let's just test this right now. So I have these files already backed up, but let's say I have this other file, it's in some sort of a mountain eruption that I want to back up as well. It's 160 megabytes. So let's see how well it does. I'm going to click this and right away, it basically starts doing this and that's it. It literally took like not even 3 seconds for it to back it up. And now if I go into my drive, under backups, there is that Mount Pinatubo eruption file. So this is a very efficient way of doing this, and it's going to run, for me at least, every single day at 5 a.m. And it's going to back up anything I put in there. And as soon as you erase this file from your original drive, it's going to erase it here. So this is basically the cheapest and the probably most efficient way of doing your own automatic backups using your own network services and your own hard drive that basically runs somewhere in the back of your house. That's all I wanted to show you. Let me know if you want to know something else, or if something was not clear, I'll make another clarifying video. And make sure to subscribe, like this video, and click that bell button to be notified about next ones. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Stay wonderful, stay awesome, stay beautiful. Bye-bye.